Hey team, happy Monday. This week brings us some endings and some beginnings. Let's get into it with the weekly calendar. On Tuesday, you are going to complete review number 3 of 3. So that's your last review for session 1. Make sure you're following instructions, choosing different people to reply to, saying, hey, so-and-so, and then 2 paragraphs, the first being very specific strengths, things that are going well, things the writer should keep doing, things you enjoyed as a reader, and paragraph number 2 being suggestions, not just for improvement, but for growth and development and experimentation and risk-taking and whatever else you have in mind, and obviously signing off with your name. If you are behind on these at all, catch up. I just will be looking for 3 of 3. The only caveat is a handful of you missed the replies for the bios and pitches discussion, so you might have 4 reviews to kind of cover your bases there. So just make sure you're counting correctly per your own progress. Then session 1 formally ends on Thursday when you complete revision number 3 of 3. Now remember that these revisions as an assignment aren't your actual revisions on your composition. I assume that's taking place. But the revision assignment is a guided assignment that asks you to answer questions more like a reflection on your revisions. So it's like a revision check-in. Imagine again, like we're in the freelancers building and you come to my office, you meet with the editor to say, this is how it's going, this is where I'm succeeding, this is where I'm struggling. That way I just kind of know, how's everyone doing? What's everyone working on? In what ways is everyone attempting to grow and whatnot? But very specifically for the course, I gave you 3 bulleted learning resources, and so I'll be checking that for each of your 3 revision submissions, you're actually dealing with a single learning resource, and then the next one, and then a third one in whatever order you determine. Now, just because it's coming to mind right now, I want you to know that those learning resources are tied directly to the course learning outcomes. So that's one of the ways that the class really strongly adheres to what the institution, LCC, sells as what you're supposed to learn and practice in English 101. So that's why this is so crucial and why I'm looking at it through that lens. As I said with reviews, if you're behind on revisions, and a lot of people are as of last night when revision 2 was due, please just catch up. Just hop in there, take some time, read the instructions, do the work. Otherwise, you miss that opportunity and it changes your eligibility for letter grades at the end of the quarter. More on that later because I don't want to put that in the update video. I just want to see what we're all going to accomplish by Thursday. But mantra being, if you're behind, catch up. The only thing I'm really looking for with some of these deadlines is just space between the work. So, replies come in a scattered way so that people get responses to various stages of their writing process. And revisions take place a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, because that's really how you're going to grow as a writer. Now, to mark the end of session 1 on that Thursday night, not only do you submit your last revision, but you will submit your final copy, final draft, you could say. It doesn't need to be a perfect draft, it's done because it's due. You will submit that to the composition portfolio. Submission space, that's what it's called. And at the end of every session, it will be that assignment. So that's a place where, imagine it like a briefcase where we're just going to stow away the final products from each session. All of our other submission spaces are process-oriented. So in the middle of working on it, you're having meetings, you're reading each other's work thus far, you're making comments, you're making changes, you're explaining how those changes are going. But this is like the briefcase, the composition portfolio, where you're going to drop in the final product when the due date comes. I don't know if you're this kind of person, but you might have to just say, it's not done, it's due. You might have to say that out loud and say, it's good enough. It is what it is. We will work from here. And everyone's in a different place. Everyone has different standards, different skills, all that stuff. But It's not done, it's due. So just a snapshot of where we ended up on the end of session 1. Now, in that space, just so you know, I'll be tracking how many compositions did you complete overall for the quarter? How many words did you write overall for the quarter? How many outside sources did you integrate overall for the quarter? Because all of those numerical values will impact your final letter grade. If you really want to get into the weeds with that, you can, read that assignment prompt. It kind of breaks down some of the most important things. You could also go back to the course syllabus, which is linked from that assignment prompt, and see how these things shake out. But for now, you can actually just focus your energy on writing. Like, you could get away with not thinking about that stuff for a little bit longer as we get into session 2, because once we get into there, then it's going to start becoming more clear to you what is crucial to complete and what you can let slide. So for now, just give everything your best shot. Okay, and then session 1 is over. So for session 2, the first thing due will be on Sunday night, and that will be the session 2 plan. It looks like the session 1 plan, but read carefully. The details are different. Most importantly, there's a link to an outside resource called the Stick or Switch resource, Stick or Switch Guidelines. Let me just sum that up. Stick means, very simply, I want to stick with the composition I worked on during session 1, and I want to carry it over into session 2. Don't just do that. You can decide that that's what you want to do, but read the resource, because you want to be making choices that line up with what you know about you as a writer and a person right now. So if you can pre-decide, but review the resource just to make sure that you have full awareness of what your choice implicates. But that is stick. Stick with the same composition. Carry it into session 2. Work on it for 2/3 weeks longer. Switch is, I'd like to change into a different project. I want to go somewhere else with this, okay? And again, read the details, because you could switch for session 2 and then switch back to something for session 3. There are 3 sessions total for the course. Once I've had a minute to dot my I's and cross my T's, I will also post the editorial meetings sign-up sheet, which will be for, I think it's next week and the week after, but I have to double check everything. That's why I say dot I's, cross T's. And I know I mentioned a lot of times that those of you who missed editorial meetings during session 1, that I would send out some new dates. I also didn't hear from anyone and requesting that. So I'm feeling a little bit like those of you who missed that did it because you don't really want to complete that assignment. I don't know. I feel a little bad putting it that way, because it might come across the wrong way. The point is, I'm teaching online, you're learning online. I can't read your mind and you can't read mine. So anyway, the requirement for the course for earning a C or better is the 1 required editorial meeting. So if you make it to session 2, the required editorial meeting, you can earn a C. If you would like to earn a B or an A, you need 2. So if you didn't have a meeting with me during session 1 and you want a B or an A, you'll need to do the optional editorial meeting during session 3. And as of now, that's what the syllabus says. If you guys give me different input, I can consider, what you have to share and sharing that out with the class and seeing about making some changes. But that and then some of the missing revisions right now are the only things that have me slightly concerned. But again, it's in your guys' hands. You can choose what you want to get out of the course in terms of letter grade. And I'm going to stop talking about that in the video right now, because my philosophy, my teaching approach is I want to focus on the learning. The grades are on you guys. I want to spend my energy just talking to you about your writing and about how you're growing, how you can keep growing, what your goals are, how we can get you there. This class is required for other classes, and that makes it sound like a hoop. I want it to be a meaningful hoop. I want it to be a space where you don't just turn stuff in, but you actually have revelations about your own progress, your own strengths, your own areas for improvement. I want you to walk out with, like I said, revelations of self. Maybe it's even just about the topics. Maybe you don't necessarily feel that you grew as a writer by the end of the quarter, but maybe you're like, I learned some things about a topic I wanted to know about, I wanted to explore and write about. That's fine too, but learning first and foremost, growth first and foremost. So check in with Canvas, check these due dates, plot them on your planner calendar. If you don't have a planner or a calendar, get one, get a system. If you need my help, say so. I have been in student shoes for many years, and I've had to learn a lot of survival techniques and processes, and I've had a lot of victories and a lot of flops. And so I can be a resource to you guys if you would like me to be. I think that's it. I will throw out that there is a discussion board through modules that gives you direct access to Jacob, the faculty research librarian, and he can help with sources, research, topic development. He is like itching to help you. So you might consider, if you're like, I just need a boost, I'll take anything, you might consider reaching out, and you could tell me in your revision update that you did that. That's all. Have an awesome week, everyone. I will talk to you soon.